Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clown Amelia Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode.
It's another great day to be live at the same time as Taylor Swift. Hello! How are we doing? As always, this podcast is just an expression of my thoughts and opinions, and in no way am I associated with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation, although I would love to be. Now, wowzas, what a week. What a week this has been. I have mixed emotions, to be completely honest with you, because on one hand, I'm headed to the Eras Tour this week, and on the other hand, what on earth just happened? Like, we have a lot to discuss, and I'll be completely honest with you. I have a lot of thoughts. I think this is scary. I think it proves further that being a woman is difficult. It proves further that Taylor Swift is a true warrior. She is forever and always a beacon of world peace in my eyes, and you can't convince me otherwise. And we just have a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and just dive headfirst fearless, if you will. And sort of the updates, I'll start with myself of what's going on. I'm headed to London. I am going to night 3 of London shows. I will be at the show on Saturday on 8/17. I am quaking in my boots with excitement. I have prepped quite a bit of stuff. Like, there's a lot that goes into international travel, and I have not traveled. I've been to Mexico a couple of times since COVID, but I have not been over the pond, if you will, since like 2016, I think it is. And that was really like one of my first, I've been to overseas twice, I guess. I've been to Switzerland once while I was in like 8th grade for a dance trip. And then I went once other time in like 2016 with Matt on like a trip around Europe. But it was a little bit overwhelming in my opinion because we went to like 10 different places in 7 days. And it felt like we spent 90% of the trip walking on a train or like in a car or on a plane. And I feel like it was a little bit too much in a short time span. And I didn't document a lot of it. I mean, this was pre-influencer era, but I don't know. I think I'm in need of a redo, so I'm very excited. I feel like London is like a very easy, neutral place to sort of like ease my way in to traveling abroad again. So I'm very, 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 very excited. I'm also, fun fact, like 65% British-Irish, according to my 23andMe. My mom was adopted, so we don't fully know like her side. I mean, I guess we do now because of 23andMe, but it was really fun to see because we didn't really know that. And then my dad, we definitely knew that there was like some of that happening for my dad, but we don't really have a lot of information on either of my like family's lineage. So fun fact, I'm a little bit British and Irish. Now, like I said, I've got a lot prepped and packed. I feel like perhaps I'm going overboard. Like I ordered pounds from my bank, so I have to go pick that up tomorrow. So I have some cash on hand. I've got like my toiletries in the little required Ziploc baggies. I'm feeling very prepped, primed, good to go. And I think that's a good thing when you're traveling internationally. Now, in terms of bracelets, I feel like this is like one of my main focuses before I head out. I have so many beads, so many bracelets that I've been making. I am trying to make as many as humanly possible. I might continue making them on the airplane because as of right now, there's like 150 people RSVP'd to the meetup that I'm hosting on Sunday. So I want to have as many bracelets as possible to trade with you guys. And then I also want to have like at least 50 to trade at my actual Eras Tour show on Saturday. So lots of beads, lots of bracelets, lots of things happening there. I did put a video on YouTube giving you guys kind of a tour of my bracelet collection, but this was prior to me starting to create the London ones. So if you guys liked that video over on YouTube, it's on my Reagan Bailey channel. Let me know and I can do like a follow-up video from London and show you all the bracelets that I made and all the bracelets that I traded because I think that might be fun to compare and hopefully give anybody ideas who are going to the last few United States shows. I mean, after London, we only have 12 shows. Is it 12 shows? We only have 3 weekends of shows left after London, which is horrifying and scary and crazy and wild. I cannot even believe. What is a world without the Eras Tour? I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Now, I have so many videos saved, and this is kind of my first time being like so ultra organized when it comes to content. Typically, I just kind of like come up with content on the fly, and you guys know a lot of my content is not like heavily edited. The like most editing that I do is like an ASMR video when I'm like packing my luggage and kind of throwing everything in my bag and kind of like Emily Kaiser style if you follow her. But I have so many trends and videos that I want to get because obviously a big portion of my content is Taylor Swift content and Eras Tour is a big part of that. And I want to make sure to capture as many videos and footage as possible while at the show. So I have like 2 different chargers that I can juice up my phone if my phone battery gets low. I have like all these videos saved as links in my phone that I can reference while I'm there. So I'm feeling good and prepared on that sense. And then I'm also bringing my vlog camera, which I won't be able to bring like into the stadium, but I'll definitely vlog throughout my time in London itself. I'm kind of viewing this trip as like 75% Taylor, 25% London. Like my priority for this trip, the whole reason we're going is for the concert. So I want to make sure I go to the Vienna museum with like the songbook trail. I want to go to that. I want to go to the Black Dog. I want to go to like all the Taylor things. There's also a kebab shop. I think that it was featured in the Endgame music video, I'm pretty sure. And apparently when Taylor was last there in June, she ordered like 1,000 kebabs or something like that, 500 kebabs. I don't know how many kebabs she ordered. She ordered a lot of kebabs from this kebab shop. How many times can I say kebab? Kebab. Kerplunk. Kebab. Apparently she ordered a bunch of kebabs. I can't even say it with a straight face. This is why we can't have nice. I think I literally have turned into a Taylor Swift lyric as a whole. This is tragic. Okay. Anyways, I'm planning on doing all the Taylor things, but one of the things I'm most excited about that's not Taylor related, I need to collect myself, is I used to work at Lush Cosmetics for several years. I worked there throughout college, and then I worked there a little bit after college when I first moved to LA. And I love Lush Cosmetics. They're a fantastic company. They do so much good for the world that they do not get enough recognition for. But they also have huge stores in the UK. I believe they were actually started in the UK. They have huge stores, one of them being the largest Lush store of all time, which is on Oxford Street, which also has a Lush spa. And I am so excited because I've been wanting to go to the Lush spa for literally like a decade. If it's even been open for that long. I've been wanting to go for ages. So I've booked myself a facial and a massage, and it's using all of the Lush Cosmetics products. So I cannot wait. Oh, I'm super, super, super excited for that. So I think aside from that, let me pull up my phone and walk you guys through some of the other stuff that I have written down. I really want to go to this place. I saw it yesterday, the Portobello Markets in Churchill Arms, Notting Hill area. It seems like it's only like 15 minutes away from where I'm staying. So I will definitely be doing that. My current debate, and this is the last thing I'll say before I get into Vienna, is I am there for 6 full days. And I'm like, do I want to try to go to another show? Or do I want to make my Saturday all about the show, Sunday about the meetup, and then the rest of the time exploring? Or do I seize the opportunity and try to go to another show, even if it means by myself? I cannot decide. I feel like I'll regret it if I don't, but I feel like I also don't want to regret not exploring London. But London will also always be there and the Eras Tour will not. So stay tuned. By the time this comes out, I will be like flying there. So you guys will obviously follow along if you're interested. Now, switching gears to talk about Vienna. Ugh. What an absolute catastrophic disappointment for the Swifties. If you were a Vienna Swiftie, I sincerely apologize because I can only imagine the literal heartbreak that you are experiencing. But I am also so grateful that you are alive and still with us because that is the reality and the gravity of this situation. As harsh as that may sound, I am so grateful for the Austrian authorities for doing their job and their due diligence in getting this early and when they did, because this could have been way, way worse. And I've seen a lot of people say it, and I want to reiterate, like, I am so glad that we're grieving the loss of a concert and not the loss of lives. And that's the reality of this. Does it suck? Absolutely. But you know what would suck more? If they didn't catch it and something bad happened. I'm going to focus on the positive. We don't need to rehash it. We're all aware of, you can go look up the news if you want to get into the nitty gritty. But I think the reality of what I've been thinking about so much and what's been weighing on me the most, first and foremost, this is a Taylor Swift podcast. I idolize this woman for her integrity, for her graciousness, for her intelligence, and for her individuality. She stands up for what is right and inspires women and men around the world to do the same. And I think that she was put on this earth to push boundaries in ways that we have never seen women do before her, and I have to applaud her for that. While she has not spoken out or said anything at the time of me recording this podcast, she has an incredible weight on her shoulders that I do not think a singular human being on this planet, except for perhaps Ariana Grande, who experienced the Manchester situation, and other artists who have been in the same boat when it comes to counterterrorism and attacks and etc. I think there are a handful of people who can relate to her in this moment, and I hope she's leaning on those people in her community. But she has so much pressure on her shoulders. And I've said this before, and I think about this often. She's in a position constantly where it's like, if she does speak out, people have a problem with it. If she doesn't speak out, people have a problem with it. If she has an opinion, people have thoughts. If she doesn't have an opinion, it's always something, right? It seems like everything she does is scrutinized. But in this moment in particular, in the same way I think Taylor removed her catalog from Spotify to make a point to better the industry, I think there's a lot of weight on her in this exact moment in time, because the decisions that she makes to protect her fans will set a precedent for musicians and artists and people who utilize stadiums moving forward. I think the United States, I can only speak to the United States. This is my first time going to a concert abroad, but thankfully, maybe it's not great that we have to be so diligent in the United States, but following 9/11 and following so much gun violence and stuff, I think the United States, we unfortunately are sort of conditioned to metal detectors and see security. Like, heck, I live in Los Angeles where there's armed guards at the local grocery store. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's so sad and crazy, the world we live in. But again, the positive is that, just to put it simply, we have this fantastic woman to look up to as a leader, and I trust the decisions that she makes, not blindly because I'm a fan, but because of the resilience that she's shown in the past. And I have full confidence that if she is willing to get up on that stage and do this show following the immense pressure and immense sadness and every possible emotion she's feeling, then I, as a fan, feel safe being in the audience, knowing she will go to great lengths to make sure we are protected. And there are some articles and there's some information coming out about what precautions are being pursued to make sure fans stay safe. I saw that they are having undercover security that'll be basically dressed in normal clothing amongst the crowd to sniff out anybody suspicious. I saw on Twitter and Threads that people who were attending sporting events at Wembley recently said that security was like nothing they had ever seen. We've seen that Travis has, upgraded security, which is kind of sad, but I'm glad that he does. There's just a lot of alleged info online, but the scariest part is it could have been any of us. And I think what followed was even more beautiful in Vienna, where people really rallied together. We saw strangers in the streets. People who weren't even Swifties were like, this is beautiful. How do I get a part of this? And I think that's what this fandom is all about. That's what the beauty of music is that music brings all of us together. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter. It brings us together. And there's always a rainbow after the rain. And I think that solidifying unity following an event like this is what's most beautiful. So yes, it's been a tough week. Yes, I think it is tricky that she hasn't spoken out yet. It's a slippery slope. My only conclusion, and I said this on my Instagram stories earlier this week, is that there has to be a reason that she has not spoken out, whether it's her own personal reasons for not being comfortable or not having the, being in the right brain space to formulate something, or the complete opposite in which she has been directed to not say anything. And that's totally cool too. There's a lot of people who are demanding a response. I think giving her grace is what's most important, giving her team grace. This is unprecedented. And do I like living constantly in unprecedented times? No, but it's the reality of the world we live in. And in the wise words of Hannah Montana, life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. Make it rock, yeah. Am I aging myself? How many of you guys are Hannah Montana fans? Comment below if you're on YouTube. By the way, the episode will be on YouTube, as always, if you're interested in watching or listening there. Now, it wouldn't be an episode of Swiftie School if we didn't clown about RepTV. And what I'll say about this is I kind of feel like, well, for me personally, I've intentionally kind of slowed down the clowning the past week or two following the Vienna situation because it just didn't feel very appropriate. I did post a video kind of with my thoughts about the VMAs and my excitement surrounding that because I think if anything, we might get some Easter eggs at the VMAs. I don't know about an announcement as much as I do. I think her clothing might signal us in a certain direction for the VMAs, whether it's like a slithery, snaky dress, sort of like Golden Globes, whether it's, maybe a Versace moment with some of their signature like snakes. I think the VMAs will be just a fun time, and it'll be a great way to kind of like round out this European leg of the tour and Taylor kind of taking her break over the next couple of months. I'm just excited for the woman to be back in the United States, honestly. I think she's been away from home for a while, so is her team, and I think it'll be good vibes all around is what I'll say with that. Now, have some fun Swiftie submissions from you guys and a couple of shout outs. I wanted to quickly call out the Patreon and the details for you guys because there's so many fun things happening. This Saturday, the 17th, the day I'm actually attending the Eras Tour, unironically, is the 1-year anniversary of Swiftie School, which I absolutely cannot believe that I published my first episode of Swiftie School 1 year ago is so crazy to me. This has been truly the time of my life, and I think it's really invigorated a passion of mine, which is sort of like commentary, but also research and reporting, if you will, like sort of a mixture of those things. And what's really fascinating is I think I mentioned this to you guys maybe like 20 episodes ago. If you believe in this or not, I spoke to a psychic medium with my mom, I don't know, a couple of years ago now. And she really leaned into the fact, she was like, I feel like you need to be using your voice more. I feel like you need to be talking more. I think you're going to be on a public scale. I think you're going to be broadcasting like your message or something you have to say. And she just kept saying like talking, using your voice more. And I think that this podcast has been proven that that is a passion of mine and something that I love. And I'm hoping to sort of transition that into other aspects of my life as well. Like I would love to do red carpet reporting. I would love to do, larger scale interviews with artists. So I don't know. I don't know what's to come. Obviously, the podcast is not going anywhere, but I just want to say thank you. And I'm so grateful for you guys for giving me my voice. Feels like a little Ariel moment. Now, I had mentioned the Patreon because in honor of Swiftie School's 1-year anniversary, I am opening up my clown call, which is happening on August 25th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to literally anybody that joins the Patreon. That means you can join my $2 tier, my $5 tier, my $10 tier, or my $19.89 tier, and you will be able to participate in the clown call. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to have prizes. We do trivia. We do giveaways. We do icebreakers. We have discussion topics. We clown. It's so much fun. I seriously cannot recommend it enough. There are so many Patreon members that have given me so much feedback that is their favorite part about being a Patreon member. And if you want to join just to do the call on the 25th for $2 and then cancel after, totally fine with me. I would love to have you either way. With that being said, I do have some other fun downloads that are going to be available from the Sabrina Carpenter short and sweet listening party document to the VMAs document, which will be coming early September to play, like fill it out as your ballot before the VMAs start. So look out for that. It's a really fun way to support the podcast and me and all the free time that I put into this because you guys know I don't really make any money from my Taylor Swift stuff. But anyways, a couple shout outs to new members before we get into Swiftie submissions. We've got a few today, which I'm excited about. We've got Alana, Raquel, Izzy, Jenna, Brooke, Jessica, Sherry, Alice, Carly, and I wrote down M-A-I-R. And I don't think that's right. I do not think that's right. So we're going to look at that together. Is it Maria? Is it Mar? Mare? M-A-I-R. We're going to go with Mare. And I'm going to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. I'm so excited to have you. Very grateful that you're here. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our Swiftie submissions for the week. We have a submission that came in requesting to do this episode. Their name was Swiftie from Denmark is what they put. And they asked to do an episode about the Vienna shows. So absolutely, here you go. A gift to you. And they also asked about an episode covering the rumored Karma album. They said they've seen kind of a lot of the fan theories surrounding this. I think the Karma album, what makes most sense is, and there's not really much for me to say, to be honest, regarding the Karma album, other than this was what was rumored to come after 1989 before Reputation. People thought that there was an album that was supposed to come between the two. I have to do some research and refresh myself on the lore as to why people thought that was. Or if you guys have any thoughts on that, definitely send them in. but I'm happy to do some research and report back. If it makes sense to do a full episode, I will. If not, we could just discuss it on an upcoming podcast. Now, the last one is from Grace. And Grace said, I think that when we get Reputation Taylor's version, the bottom of Taylor's boots during Lover are going to be black, and we'll know when she kicks up her feet in The Man. She said she listens to the podcast. This is one of her favorites. Okay, Grace, I think this is really fun. And I like the idea of thinking outside the box because I feel like we've been so married to the idea of like, oh, she's going to wear all black outfits again, just like she did for 1989 with all the blue outfits. I don't know. My gut is telling me she's not going to be like a one-trick pony and kind of pull like the same thing because that's what we're going to be expecting. So I like the idea of something small like this, like her boots being black. Now, I don't think her shoe designer, Christian Louboutin, would be willing to do black paint because their signature thing is red paint. But I could see something like her bottom of her boots saying something, like having a little snake on it or having like RepTV or something on the bottom of them. And I could see something with boots, period, being tied into it because the visuals behind Reputation feature 2 boots with 2 pant legs. And we know that she only has 1 pant leg for Reputation. So I long for the day. I long for the day where we know exactly what happens with RepTV so that we can all bond over it in the nursing homes 80 years from now. Maybe not 80 years from now, 50 years from now. But that's all I have for you today. I am so excited because the next episode, I have a very fun guest that is going to be on. And I think a lot of you guys have probably seen his content before over on social media. I'm very excited. And if you have any requests for any special guests, definitely send them my way because I'm always open to suggestions. Full transparency, I ask for a lot of people to be on the podcast, but I don't hear back, which is frustrating. Or like it just doesn't work out scheduling wise. So if you have any requests, definitely send over some creators my way or any people that you think would be interesting to listen to, and I will definitely look into it. But that's it for now. By the time we talk next in a couple of weeks, I will have so much to talk with you about. So I absolutely cannot wait. Do not forget to rate and review the podcast. Subscribe if you're over on YouTube. Send this to a friend. Do what you need to do. Happy 1-year anniversary to Swiftie School. I'm so grateful. Thank you as always. My name is Reagan, and it was another great day to be live at the same time as Taylor Swift. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I know all too well how busy life can be, and I am so grateful that you chose to stay. Now just know this is me trying, and I would greatly appreciate if you took a minute to leave a review or maybe share this episode with a fellow Swiftie. Make sure you join my broadcast channel on Instagram for more Swiftivities. And long story short, this love is real, and I'm beyond grateful for your support. See you next time.